Okay, we're just gonna do two fast and simple problems. So we're just gonna do number one, which is going to be um it's going to be y is equal to negative x squared over 2 plus 6, and our second equation is gonna be y is equal to negative 2x. Okay, so from here we are just going to set them equal. Oh, and our bounds are from negative 3 to 2. So we're just going to set them equal to each other. So we're going to have x squared over 2 plus 6 equals negative 2x. We're going to add negative 2x to both sides. And then we're going to have this. But since we don't want to do factoring with a fraction on the exponent, we're just gonna multiply this by, we're gonna factor it. So first we're gonna multiply it by negative 2 because it's also easier to do it without a negative. So if we multiply negative 2 to the whole thing, we're gonna get x squared minus 4x plus 12. And then we're going to be able to factor this by so it's going to be, it is going to be, oops, I did that wrong. This should be minus 12. So you have minus 12, so then you should have x, you would probably have like x, yeah, x minus 6 and x plus 2. So then you would have x equals 6 and x equals negative 2. So since our graphs are bound from negative 3 to 2, only negative 2 fits inside. So then afterward, we're just going to see which graph is on top and which one's on bottom. So then we are going to make our little table. So this is negative 3, negative 2, and then 2. And then we're going to make this little table right here. We could just do this one and signify it as this equation, and then negative 2x for the other one. And then we're going to pick a number from negative 3 to negative 2, which is just going to be negative 5/2. From there, we're just going to plug it into the first equation. So we're going to have negative 5 over 2 squared over 2 plus 6. I'm going to do this a bit fast. So we're going to have negative 25 over 4, which is also going to give us 25 over 8, if I'm not wrong. 25 over 8, negative 25 over 8 plus 6, then that's going to be 48 minus 25, which is going to be 17. So then we have 17 over 8. Actually, I did that wrong. 6 times, oh wait, no, I was right, 6 times 8, yeah. So then we're gonna have 17 over 8, and then we plug in 5 over 2 in that one, and we're gonna get negative, I might have done something wrong here. Yeah, and then negative 2 times, oh no, I was right. So then this is just gonna be 2 So then that means that, wait, no, I'm wrong. 5 times, sorry, this is going to be a positive 5. Because negative 5 times 2 is going to be negative, sorry, positive 10 over 2, which is equal to 5. So then that means our negative 2x is going to be on top. And it's most likely going to be on the bottom over here, but we want to just double check. So then we're probably going to plug in, so from negative 2 to 2, we could plug in 0. 0 into the first equation is just going to give us 6, and the other one is going to give us 0. So then the negative x squared equation would go on top. So then afterward, our first equation is from negative 3 to negative 2, and we're going to get our first equation, which was negative 2x, and then we're going to subtract it by the bottom one, which is just going to be negative x squared over 2 plus 6 dx plus the other integral, which would be negative 2 to 2 of negative x squared over 2 plus 6 minus negative 2x dx. Okay, now from here we'd probably just want to simplify. I'm not going to rewrite the integral though. So then we're just going to do negative 2x plus x squared over 2 plus 6. And then we could do the same thing on over here, x squared 2 plus 6 plus 2x. So now we're just going to find the integral and put it in order so it could look better and it can be easier for us. So then the integral of x squared over 2 is just going to be x cubed over 6. Then it's going to be minus x squared minus, yes, minus, because I forgot this right here should be a minus 6x. So then from negative 3 to negative 2, then we're going to integrate the other one, which is just going to be negative x cubed over 6 plus x squared plus 6x. So then from there, oh, I forgot, from negative 2 to 2, from here on out, we're just going to plug everything in. So this is going to be negative 8. We're going to plug in negative 2 first. Negative 8 over 6 minus 4 plus 12 minus negative 27 over 6 minus 9 plus 18. Then big plus, so we could know that it's different. 2, so it's going to be negative 8 over 6 plus 4 plus 12 minus, and then we're going to plug in negative 2, which is just going to be 8 over 6 plus 4 minus 12. Okay, let's start on the left hand side first. So we're going to leave 8 over 6, but then we could simplify these two, which would just give us plus 8. Then we are just going to make this the negative 27, and then minus negative 27 is just going to put positive 27 over 6. This would be equal to 9, but it would make it a negative 9. So then afterward, we would just combine the negative 8 over 6 and the 27 over 6, which would give us 19 over 6. And then we'd have a negative 1. So then we could just write it like that. So that's on our left hand side first. So over here, we could do negative 8 over 6, just leave it by itself. Then we could combine the 4 and the 12. And then this would become negative 8 over 6, or minus 8 over 6. And then 4 minus 12 would be negative 8. But since we have a negative minus on the outside, it would be positive 8. So then afterward, we would have negative 16 over 6 plus 24. Now we could combine these two. So then if we combine them, we'd get 23. And then we could combine the negative 16 and the negative 19, which would be negative I'm just noticing something. I kind of wrote this wrong. This should be 19 over 6 minus, I can't even write 19. 19 over 6 minus 1. There we go. So then afterward, we would have plus 3 over 6. 23 times 6 times 6, that'd be 8, 113, be 138, 138 plus 141, 141 over 6. And you could simplify this by 3 actually. If you were to simplify it by 3, you would multiply by by 40, which would give you 120. You would have 21 left. 3 times 7 is 21. So then 21 plus 120 is 141. So then you would simplify this to 47 over 2. And we're going to try another one that has a lot more fractions just in the beginning, which is going to be number 6. Number 6, we are introduced with negative x cubed over 2 minus x squared over 2 plus 2x, and our second equation is just going to be negative x squared over 2. So first we want to set them equal to each other, so then we're going to do negative x cubed over 2 minus x squared over 2 plus 2x. And then we could just add it on this side already. We already know that. So then we'd have plus x squared over 2. If you want, you could write equals to 0. But then this and this would cancel out. So then we'd have x cubed over 2 plus 2x. And to factor it, you might want to, I mean, you could factor it by other means, but this is the way I like to do it. You multiply everything by negative 2, so then you would be left with x cubed minus 4x. So then afterward, let me just make sure I'm doing this right. I wouldn't want to be going the wrong way. Yeah. It really doesn't matter whether it's negative or not. But you could simplify, I mean, you could factor out x, so then you'd have x squared minus 4. So then you'd have x equals 0. X squared is equal to 4. You square root both sides, and you get x is equal to plus minus 2. So x could also equal plus minus 2. So then, oh, and I forgot that, oh yeah, we have our new bounds, which would be from negative 2 to 2 and 0 right in the middle. So then we'd want to grab our little table. We'd want to just put x cubed over 2. We don't need to put the whole equation as we know what it's going to be. And then we could just put this on the side. Okay, so first of all, we could plug in negative 1. We plug in negative 1 to the top, and we would get 1 over 2 minus 1 over 2 minus 2. So that would cancel out, and you'd get a negative 2. And then you plug in negative 1 on the other side, and you'd get negative a half. This one is a greater number, so negative x squared over 2 is going to be on top, and then we could plug in 1. If we plug in 1 to the first equation, we are going to get negative 1 over 2 minus 1 over 2 plus 2. So then these two would combine to create negative 1 plus 2, which would just be 1. And then we plug in 1 to the other equation, we're actually just going to get the same thing, which is going to be negative 1 over 2. And this one's bigger this time, so this one is going to be the one on top. Okay, so knowing that, we can now write our integral of negative 2 to 0. And our first equation on top was negative x squared over 2 minus, and then you want to get the one on the bottom, which is negative x cubed over 2 minus x squared over 2 plus 2x. And then from here, you want to, sorry, I lost my train of thought. You want to do the other integral, which would be from 0 to 2. That was a very bad integral. You want to do negative x squared. Just making sure I wrote all of this right. Sorry, not negative x squared. You want to get negative x cubed over 2 minus x squared over 2 plus 2x minus negative x squared over 2. Now, if you could already see, if not, we're just going to simplify it. But the x to the power of 2x, or if you want x squared over 2, they're actually going to cancel out. But just in case you can't see that, we're just going to write it. So this and this cancel out. So then afterward, we would just have x cubed over 2 minus 2x. But then we want to actually, let's just integrate it all at once. So then we would have x to the power of 4 over 8 minus x squared. And then we would have, we would have negative 2 to 0. And then we want to simplify this side, so we're just going to do x cubed over 2 minus x squared over 2 plus 2x plus x squared over 2. These cancel out, so you just get left with the x cubed over 2 and plus 2x. We could just integrate it already. So then we would be left with negative x 4 over 8 plus x squared from 0 to 2. From here, we just want to solve it. So then the 0, we wouldn't want to plug in that one since we know what it's going to be. This is just going to be 2 times 2, which is 4, and then 4 times 4, which is 16. That's going to give you 2. Then minus 4, that's going to give you negative 2, but then a regular 2. Yeah, I don't know why I'm doubting myself. So then you get 2. Then you plug in 2 to this side, and you're going to get negative 2 plus 4. So from here you get 2 as well. So you do 2 plus 2, which is equal to 4. That's basically it. Thank you for watching.